Now this is our funeral vehicles from different eras. This is a horse-drawn hearse, and it was built in 1888. This is a Model T hearse, and it was in 1912. And this is a 1921 hearse. And this is out of the 1938 model. And this is a 1959 model. And this is a 1966 model. And we don't have anything any newer than 66. Of course, naturally, hearses are, by this time in 59 and 66, they were modernistic anyway. Now then, when we first put this display in here and we started taking people through, we realized that no one under 50 years of age remembered funeral homes doing ambulance service. And so then we set up this ambulance thing here and brought in miniatures of the ambulances. Until January 1979, 95% of all ambulance service in the United States was done through funeral homes. If you needed an ambulance, you called a funeral home. Some large cities offered an emergency ambulance service, but all of their convalescent work was done through the funeral home. This is a 1916 York Hoover. You will notice how tall the cars were back then, and an ambulance had to be even taller. I have often thought in my early days in the funeral business about if you were in a real bad wreck and you didn't know if you was going to live till you got to the hospital, and then here's the undertaker lifting you out and on a stretcher, what you would think. But that's just the way it was. I mean, people did not think anything about this because that was the way it was done. Funeral homes did the ambulance service, and funeral homes did advertise. I imagine on those fans over there that there was some ambulance service advertised, because you advertised it very prominently in your advert. This is a firm out of Tampa, Florida, and they had 4 ambulances besides their fleet of cars. This was the very first all automobile funeral hearse that was used. It was actually taken off of a horse-drawn hearse and mounted onto a car chassis. And it was in January the 15th, 1909, and Chicago undertaker H.D. Ludlow led the procession. Now, this was the very first all-automobile funeral that was conducted, and F.F. Roberts conducted the second documented all-automobile, and they had to travel 11 miles from the city of Chicago to Mount Rose Cemetery. Now, up here, we show they're coming out of the church and placing the coffin in a horse-drawn hearse. This casket is not that old. It was built in 1930, so it is 81 years old, but we thought it was so unusual that we would have it in here. The casket itself is solid zinc, and it was built in 1930, and of course you can see where the paint is scratched right down to bare metal, but there has been no rusting whatsoever. Zinc does not rust. On all 4 corners of the lid, there are these caps that are cast iron. These are cast iron, and this here is cast iron. And then it is a glass sealer. This casket was the very, very, very best you could buy in 1930. The casket itself weighs over 700 pounds. Now, I don't know how you would have ever, I'm not a big man, but I weigh 188. If you put me in there, it would be over almost 1,000 pounds. It'd be over 900 pounds. And really the interior, other than this area right here, and other than this area right here, the interior is in perfect shape for it to be 81 years old. And so anyway, this is why we had this displayed up here.